get the cheat code, I'm a beast. They should've never let me out of leash. Stop all the cap, I'm just tryna see. You really back what you talk on the beat. They put me in, I'ma walk on the beat. I eat my plate and it make me obese. I been pushing lyrics like a kingpin. And when the day we got no rings.
Guys, how you guys doing today?
Hi.
Hola.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Me and Kingpin are looking very fallish, but you're looking very springish in your colors.
I'm fat and
pastels.
black is a naturally slimming color.
I'm a New Yorker and black is like what we do, but I'm in a bright mood today.
Okay.
So am I. Can you see my T-shirt? It says "Thank God for Wendy Day," an Eminem quote.
And
It is
I
an Eminem quote.
do not
It's
have
from
my
the-
shirt.
Well, you know why you don't have one? Because you haven't gone to the cheatcodepodcast.com and ordered one. They're available on the shop. Get one for you and the wife.
Done.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So you guys should get one too.
And we should
love
talk
you.
about this
I love you back.
this first topic. Culture vultures. What is a culture vulture? Who is an example of a culture vulture? Do they matter initially? Do they matter at all?
Wow. Why'd you look at me?
I'm looking at both of you.
I mean, anybody in the music business with stature's opinion matters. So
I think a culture vulture started like in my generation in the late 80s and early 90s, where people who look like me came into the music industry and started to, I call it raping and pillaging. They came in and they started to make money in music but not care about the culture. So they came in, and instead of giving to the culture and nurturing and helping it grow so that everybody could make money together, they came into the community as an outsider and just like pimped the shit out of it, made as much money as they could, and then bounced.
that's like when Wu-Tang said, "Who's your A&R? A mountain climber who plays an electric guitar." Kind of like disconnected, you know what I mean? They were there for the business side of it. They were there for the monetizing aspect
Yes.
of it. But
Yes.
everything else that came with
Yes.
it, good or bad,
Yes.
they were spearheading the campaign. So,
But I've also noticed that culture vulture is sometimes like a term that we use when there are white folks in music and we want to make
Is it a
them
racial
feel a
term?
certain kind of way.
is it a racial
I
term?
don't think it's racial.
Can you be a non-white culture?
That's
vulture?
my point. Is you can be.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
absolutely
I
can
don't
be.
think it's
It's
an
not-
ethnically.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's not male or female. It's everyone. It's anyone that steps in, doesn't give a fuck, and just rapes the culture.
Yeah, I feel like they don't care about the culture,
Correct.
the progression of the culture, and then they use it for whatever
Correct.
monetary gain or popularity gain, and then
Because
it doesn't matter to them.
that's the thing about hip hop is we are a culture. It's not just music. There's so much more. You know, it's different than rock in that respect. You know, we are a culture, and you've got to kind of understand the history and appreciate the culture in order to comfortably understand it and fit in.
Is Bad Baby a culture vulture?
I can't speak to that because I don't know enough about Bad Baby to even comment.
Young man?
I feel so.
Yeah.
I don't feel like she takes it
And
serious.
the other reason I would use her as an
I feel like she
example is
doesn't
not
take
trying
it
to aim
serious.
at her, but somebody that could drop a record today and would stream more than most established artists, not because she's a better rapper, but because she has exposure to more people. So you haven't been out-rapped, you've been out-fanned.
But how do you know that she doesn't care about the culture?
I feel like
What are
I
you
feel
basing
it.
that on? Because
I'm
I
going off
don't
of
know.
my
I can't
feeling.
speak on that. Okay.
I'm just kind of going off of my feeling. There are things that people do when they are fans and they're engulfed and they embrace the culture. I don't feel like she really embraces it. I feel like she doesn't care.
So we say that in order to be a culture vulture, you don't have to care about the culture. That's
Well,
number one.
that's
That would
really what it
imply the
means.
first one.
That's what it implies, that you're vulturing the culture.
She's
You're
swooping in,
swooping
and
in like
she's
a vulture,
eating,
and you're
and then
and then taking off.
a
or
vulture
takes
eats
off.
what's dead.
yeah.
Vultures don't eat what's alive. They don't.
Right.
They don't hunt. They come through and they eat what's left over.
Right.
So somebody that doesn't care about the culture is eating off of what's been neglected.
I don't think it necessarily means what's neglected. I think they're making a profit and not caring about giving back or caring about the culture.
So then that would imply that the vast majority of most DSP platforms are culture vultures. That the vast majority of most department heads and most record labels are culture vultures because they're actively
But
eating
it's
off
all
of something.
it's all cultures. A culture vulture is somebody that kind of picks one culture, whereas labels and DSPs eat off of all music genres.
So
They're
can
not
Kanye West be a
picking-
culture vulture for gospel?
That's a very
No, because I think he believes. I think he's a believer. I think he's making the music just like Snoop was making music, was making reggae because he loves it and it's in him. I don't see either of them as a
that's a
culture
strong
vulture.
case though.
I mean, you know what? He just won a couple awards for Gospel Album of the Year.
But I do feel
You don't
like
think he's
Kanye-
religious though?
I'm saying he just won a couple awards for Gospel Album of the Year. He wasn't mentioned in any of the rap categories, was he?
No, not that I know
No.
of.
So I'm asking if an established artist can come in and make his own way in a different lane other than his, profit off of it, still use the influence from what originally was his, because
Right.
the gospel album went big because of all the other stuff that went on with Donda and all the other theatrics and everything else that came
No
along
cursing.
with it.
So
Okay.
maybe he's a cultural
I'm asking. I don't know.
opportunist because vulture implies that you pick over it, eat what you can.
I don't think
and then
Kanye's a
take
vulture
off.
at all. I'm
I
just
don't either.
asking if
Yeah,
in
I don't
regards
either.
to the gospel
'Cause I
aspect of it,
think-
I'm trying to put it
I
in
think it's
context for the people who
genuine.
listen to it.
I think it comes down to authenticity or
Correct.
non-authenticity.
In your words, don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Curse jar.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how he could be a hypocrite with the Sunday service and a lot of the other stuff he puts into it. He's always put God
Right.
first. You know what I mean? I think Jesus Walks was arguably one of his biggest first records, and it was a
Yeah.
song that he said, we're not going to get no play on the radio because we're going to talk about Jesus. So I believe in that
Shout out
aspect of
Rhymefest.
it, right? But on the flip side of it, for people that are trying to put two and two together, so are the Island Boys culture vultures?
Definitely.
I wish I knew more
Definitely.
about them, but I'm going to assume that they are based on what I've seen.
They-
but my exposure's been limited to them because I
They
just
do
don't.
not pass my eye test.
Okay. Your smell test.
Right. I mean,
I just don't
in order
partake
for
in
us to give
foolishness.
people an idea of what a culture vulture is, then there have to be a relevant, recent example of one.
And they're gimmicks. Like, what's the difference between a gimmick?
I don't think they're making money off of the
And
industry to be able to be a vulture, if so to say.
Right.
I don't think that they're
Well, they're benefiting from eyeballs. Their fame.
They're benefiting from attention,
Paid.
and in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
generation, attention is part of success. Unfortunately,
Sadly.
Yeah, it's a currency.
Yeah.
You know, people a fame is paid for with attention.
Yeah.
So attention is a currency. I get it, but I don't think they may be monetizing a lot of the different things that come along with it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't.
I definitely can tell. Well, on my opinion, I don't think that they care enough to where I feel like they are saying, you know what, I love this. This is me. I love it. I breathe this. I bleed this. I don't feel that way when I hear them.
Hey, can I ask you a question? So if you're making millions of dollars off of hip hop,
Yep.
do you have a responsibility to give back?
I feel so.
What do you think?
I mean, hip hop it's rooted in the community. It always has been. So I think people that excel. You know, you look at the Wayans family. You know, with the Living Color, how everybody just went on and they lifted each other up. And you know, you look at even Jay-Z's Inner Circle. You know what I mean? All of those guys, Bleak and all those guys, they've traveled with him, and I'm sure they've helped others excel. So I think charity is the price that you pay for your space on
It's
earth.
almost like required.
And if you're in
agree.
if you're
I
in this
agree.
culture and in this urban culture and the music culture, and you're able to put, you don't necessarily have to champion somebody to score. You just have to give them the ball when they're open. And I think a lot of times in music, especially in urban music, we don't trust our team players. Like if we're gonna win the game, I gotta win it. And I think there's too much of that ball hogging going on where somebody will see that their player's next to the rim and wide open, but because they've missed a layup, they won't throw it to them. They're going to sit out here and try to take an 18-foot jumper or risk losing the game. You know what I mean? So I think it's an absolute necessity that if you're succeeding in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, then yes, philanthropy should be at the very tip top of the list of things that you have to do, because you are a reflection of the community. You may not want to speak for the community. You may not want to guide their kids or be an inspiration or be a role model, but it is what it is. It's implied.
It's a responsibility.
Yeah, it's implied. So, yes.
I think that's true in any industry. I don't think
Yeah.
it's just music. Like, if you're successful in tech or sports or whatever, like, much is required of you
Get out of my brain.
when you're successful. Oh, sorry.
You know what kills me?
It was
is
a
that
tight fit.
if you would think about it, how many people would try something creative and say, you know what? I want to do a give back, and I'm going to go buy 100 pizzas from Little Caesars. And instead of just giving the pizzas out, I'm also going to put a flyer that I'm going to have Little Caesars put on the top of every box. and I'm going to have a QR on there for the teachers to be able to scan. And when the teachers send me a DM, we're going to start a program to be able to donate, supplies or whatever it is to each one of those classes and kind of tie everything that they have going on into their community feedback. No, they would rather buy the pizzas, spend $1,500 on a camera crew to videotape them, paying $500 for pizzas and going them, but then doing something to tie in the community, which is going to make them the town crier. Those people are going to talk about it and generate that type of conversation.
And then it's authentic, because I think it needs to be authentic. I think if the camera's rolling when you're giving something away and it's charity, it's no longer charity. It's behind the scenes footage.
Yeah, if you're broadcasting, it's one thing. If you're documenting for a greater good, like, hey, man, I'm putting this in my story when it gets to where it got to go, then cool. But if you're there with an agenda like, hey, man, I need to videotape y'all with these turkeys, so I'm going to drop my single tomorrow, you're a piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit for sure. Yeah. Chris Jar. I want to segue a little bit into artist touring. I feel like we spoke on it very briefly a couple of episodes ago. And I wanted to kind of educate a couple of artists that may or may not understand what artist touring is, the money that they make, the amount of people they have to pay on a tour, from security to your DJ, to your manager, to your road manager. How do we break down artist touring? And
you're a DJ. How much you want to get paid? $500 wasn't enough for an artist making $30,000. So let's say for an artist making $3,000, what's enough? For an artist making $1,500, as a DJ that has radio gigs going on, that would benefit just as much from an artist going outside of their city. Let's start with somebody close to home. I know what I want a day. I'll say anywhere between $350 to $500 a day for my services. So if I like you and I love you, we'll keep it at $350.
And you are worth every penny, by the way. As someone that hires you
I
to
appreciate
tour,
it. Thank you.
that's per day, though.
So that's per day. So if you're on a 10-day tour, that's
Yeah.
$3,500 just for me. That's
Yes.
not food money. That's not
Correct.
hotel money. That's not gas. That's
He's
not
worth
vehicle.
it.
That's for me. But you're a DJ. How much are you trying to get paid per show? Not per day, because we may be on the tour for 15 days and there may be only 6 days on those 15 because we got to travel from Atlanta to Denver, Colorado, and then travel to Phoenix, Arizona, and then travel because our tour manager is a rookie. So he never put together a market-specific tour. He just put together a whole bunch of dates where people are willing to give you money because he knows some people. So just based off of that, how much do you want? Because I know average security wants about $250 a day, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have at least one security guard. If not two, if you're going to have a security guard and a driver. If the driver's going to moonlight as a security guard, maybe $350 a day. So between me, 2 security guards, we're at almost $750. What are we paying the cameraman?
I was gonna say I want a camera crew with me, or at least one guy.
How much are we paying him? Somebody that enlists people for tours and stuff like that. $250 a day, $200 a day.
Yeah.
$250 a day, and then maybe a bonus for extra recap footage, like $250 a day. You give me this, and if you give me this, then I got a little extra incentive for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so boom, $250 a day. So now we're at an even $1,000. We haven't paid for the DJ.
We haven't paid for flights.
We're just paying for staff.
Yeah.
Flights. No. Flight. Where are we
We
flying,
have to.
bro?
We have to rent it. We have to
we're
rent a
gonna
vehicle.
fly 4 people.
We have to rent a
You
vehicle.
got to drive, Rari.
Yeah.
What about your camera equipment? Your DJ equipment. What about that? What about the camera guys equipment? And
So
what
we're
about the
renting a
guns?
van.
The camera, the security got to carry the guns. They got the big stupid diamonds on. They're not gonna have the Call of Duty guns. Can't put those on an airplane, bro. We got to check them in and out. We're gonna be traveling at nighttime. Let's be realistic.
Yeah. We want a van, and we need.
Do we own the
gas
van,
and
or
tolls.
are we leasing the van?
No, we're
Do
gonna
we own
lease it at first. Let's
We're gonna
lease it at
So
first.
$650 a month for the
Yeah.
lease.
We need a calculator.
commercial
Let's say
vehicle?
1,000. Let's say
Calculator.
We're
1,000.
about $1,750 right now. Say 1,000. Okay, so we're at 2,000, and we haven't paid the DJ. We haven't gotten any hotel rooms. We haven't paid for fuel for the vehicle.
And we have a per diem for food because everybody needs to eat. So we
We don't
want
know
to
how
give
many
everybody
people are on the road right now. We got 2 drivers.
$25 a day, maybe
We got 2
$35
security,
a day.
1 driver, myself, and the artist. Oh no, the cameraman. I'm sorry, we haven't even included the artist.
Usually
manager.
it's 2 cameramen. It's cameramen usually.
Okay.
Well, let's have one because we're on a
Let's have
budget.
one?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's have one. We're on a budget.
So do we want to replace one of the security guards with a camera person then?
No, because I like the idea of a driver.
So
Correct.
security
Because if
guard,
somebody's sleeping at the
driver,
wheel, we're all dead.
Cameraman, kingpin. That's 4. Who else getting paid? What does the DJ want? Why haven't you answered that question yet?
I can't answer that question. 'cause we're on
$500 a show. He can't
we're
answer
on a budget,
it
and
now.
I'm
He
not
on the
I'm
microphone
not gonna
right
make
now.
it.
He can tell you what everybody else should be getting, but what he want? What do you want, Mister? 500 is not enough.
Oh, 500 ain't enough.
750?
1,000.
A
Definitely
1,000?
not. No.
1,500?
Oh, I need 1,500.
Okay, 1,500. So now
But he's
we're
a
at-
different level DJ. Like
That's
like a
beautiful.
brand new artist isn't bringing Ferrari.
Yeah,
up,
I'm
right?
not gonna.
If
I'm
a
not gonna be
brand
on
new
that.
artist knew what I would know, then 1,500 is a small price to pay to get one of the music. Different story for a different episode.
Yes.
So 1,500, we're at 5 people, and we're at $2,500 in labor cost. Now that 1,500 is per spot date.
Correct.
So if we've only got 4 dates out that 15-day week, he's only working 4 days out of it.
Correct.
Okay, so 1,500 is.
Do we need insurance?
We're gonna want to get vehicle insurance. We're gonna definitely need any type of insurance we can get. We're gonna want to have.
Because what if somebody gets stomped out at the show?
Are we booking ourselves or somebody's booking us? Holy shit! No, we're not booking ourselves. That's a whole different ball of wax.
It's a tour. Are we established? Are we a mid-level artist? Are we a new artist? Are we?
Let's just say
Backtrack.
Are we future?
Fuck. If we're future, then somebody's definitely gonna have $1 million insurance policy.
Let's
and
not
if we're
say
not
future.
then we have to have the $1 million
Correct.
insurance policy. So
Correct. And we got to pay
allocate
taxes.
the money for the $1 million insurance policy. If
And we
you're
got to
not
pay
future.
taxes in every city, every state. We're paying state tax and we're paying federal tax.
And chances are we're in a venue that collects on the publishing, so we're gonna have to collect that extra $1.25 for ASCAP or BMI or whoever it is
Right.
that we're gonna have to pay for every.
let's say
Ticketed
we're
person through the
let's
door.
say we're money long. Money long.
Okay.
The
I thought you
R&B
meant like you had long money. I was gonna
I
say,
was
well,
all
why you didn't
excited.
say
The
that from the
singer.
beginning?
The
Yeah,
singer.
I was all excited.
I'm gonna
We
get
could
me. I know
fly.
4 other people just like me.
New
All right, so-
record. It's lit. It's playing everywhere. She's got buzz. She's getting booked.
okay, cool.
I'm estimating. I'm just throwing this number out there. She's getting 18,000 a show right now.
18 to 25. if
This
it's
is
realistic.
18.
after
Yeah.
she got a #1 record.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
She's getting 18 to 25K a show.
All right.
Yes.
And sorry
and-
if I don't
and-
know JR the actual number.
And
I was
performing
throwing
one
that out.
song
Exact
over and
number,
over
but
and over.
Okay, at the bare minimum, I don't care what they're making a show because that's not got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. Because
Correct.
you're talking about what it takes to put a team together on the road. Whatever y'all making off the tour and the touring agents and all that stuff, that's cool. Staff gets paid.
Staff,
The people
facts.
who come in and turn the lights on at the stadium, they don't only get paid on game day. They come in and get paid 5 days of the week they got to work, and on
Right.
game day is the day they shine. But they
Correct.
get paid for all the other days they there at work too.
Agreed.
So, what does it cost to put a team on the road? We got 1,000 without a DJ, so we're not going to include the DJ right now. We got 1,000 for labor. Okay, so that means that those 4 people there are going to have at least 2 rooms. We're just going to talk about what it's going to cost to get your label on the road, not the artist, because that's going to vary. Because God forbid we having a pescatarian and a vegetarian on the same tour, then that's going to cost us. Your per diem just got exhausted on eating food at Whole Foods. Different story for a different day. It all depends on what type of hotel that you want to stay at, because anything over a 2.5 star is going to want $100 per hotel
Per night.
per night. The incidental fee that you're going to get back after 5 days. If you don't have a major credit card, if you have a debit card, they're going to hold it for 5 days and give it back to you, which is really 7 days, because Saturday and Sunday. The funny thing about those 5 days, they always include a Saturday and Sunday, no matter how you look at it on a business week. So once you factor all of those different things in, the money that you're going to have to spend is going to have to get whatever it costs for you to put your team on the road. Understand that you still have to pay for your cost that's for your team that's at home. While you're on the road, the focus doesn't shift. That means you're on the road and you're still working on what needs to be worked on. That's the focus is what the goal is. On the road, market visits, media runs, influencers, those are all different paths that you can take veer off of on the road to where you're going. But nonetheless, you might want to plan those and schedule those. Right? Hotel incidentals, $100 a night. Wi-Fi, $14.99 if you're staying in a 3-star hotel. Hyatt, $14.99 unless you sign up for the Members Plus. We got a vehicle to hold 6 people, right? That's an oversized vehicle. That's an oversized parking. That went from $10 a night to $25.50. If you're in New Orleans or Houston, that's
Or major
$100 a
city,
night.
yeah.
Okay, New York City, that's $150 with the big SUV. You're gonna want to fly to New York City and Uber it everywhere there, because you're gonna have to get a rental car that's already parked, because you're gonna spend $400 or $500 a day in parking. We were just talking about that on the way up here. If somebody wanted to go to New York City with a label, a modest label count, and we'll include just 4 people, and we'll throw in the artist, the DJ, we'll give it 8 people. Really modest numbers. Security and the whole, but the circus. The CEO and the artist get their own room, that's 2. The other 6 people get double bed rooms, that's 3, that's 5 rooms. An average room, a couple blocks away from Sirius XM in New York City off of Broadway, is gonna run you about $700 a night. Times 5 rooms, that's $3,500, not including incidentals or anything else. And if you're going to New York City to do a run, you're gonna be there for a few days. So that $3,500 just turned into $10,000 just getting hotel rooms. So that you can go to New York City, take 3 pictures next to a logo and say, look what I did. You know what I mean? So with anything, putting an artist on the road, where do you wanna go? What time of the year do you want to get there? Me and Wendy, we have these conversations to nauseum because everybody comes in and, man, I want to go on the road. What's it going to cost? What do we want to factor in? What part of the country are we in? Are we in the South during classic season? Are we in the North during homecoming season? Are we in the Midwest? Do we go down to Texas and Louisiana during the Step and Strut? Are we taking advantage of the whole Panama City spring break line from Pensacola all the way on down to Tallahassee and so forth and so on? So knowing what it is that you want to accomplish in each one of those cities is super important. And just because you have a song bubbling does not mean that your experience in those cities. In fact, the fact that you have a song bubbling means you should be spending twice as much time on pre-planning before you get to that city, because you can leverage your position, your chart position, your buzz, your social media value. You can leverage all of that into more platforms for more exposure in those cities. So if you're already buzzing in Richmond, Virginia, then you should be figuring out what else you can do in Richmond, Virginia, besides just getting there, going to the venue, and leaving.
Great job.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
I love the tour. The road life stuff is mine. I did that better than anybody else. Yeah, we did the road life stuff. We loved it.
Yes.
Now they got to cut a check for it now. I'm not going out there sleeping on the floor no more.
No.
I did that.
No.
I did that for many years, bro, and there's no shame in it. Slept on floors, bust down 99-cent value meals. I'm a grown-ass man still to this day. If I go on the street, if I go on the road with my team and there's a problem, we all going to eat the same thing. So if I eat 5-star meal, they eat a 5-star meal. If they got to eat value meal, I got to eat a value meal with them.
Correct.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, question of the day. Dear Cheat Code, is there a proper way, quotation, or standard blueprint to dropping a single? And how long should you push a record until you move on to the next record?
That's so hard to answer without hearing the song, because I don't want to tell somebody to push a song for 6 months if the song isn't reacting. And then on the flip side, if the song is a hot song, I don't want to say to somebody, if it's not popping in 4 weeks, move on. I can't answer that without more information. I'm sorry.
I think most artists confuse pushing a song with putting all of their efforts into one piece of content, the MP3. And I think when artists and labels independently understand that pushing a song, when you say push a song, you're talking about how many pieces are you going to put together to supplement this release? Because if you have a song and you drop your visualizer and you drop your lyric video and you have a music video, so that means you're going to drop your coming soon, you're going to drop the music video and the behind the scenes. By default, that just gave you 7 weeks worth of push.
Right.
That way you could drop something new each week without having to focus and switch records. So I think what most of these guys want is, man, what's the best way that I can put it and the whole world is going to hear it? There is no perfect way to do that. That's why when you upload your music to a DSP, it asks you, what time do you want to release? 12 o'clock, regardless of time zones, 12 o'clock in their specific time zones, because you have to pick a time. You got to designate this. The closer you get to the real information that matters to you, the better your results are going to be. What I think is that most artists, what they don't want to do is your first record, if your first record out the gate is the one that you're going to put all of your resources on, it's going to take you longer to get to the next record, because the first half of your release, you're going to be fixing all of your profiles and all your issues before you can actually start pushing the record.
That's real.
So,
Cheat Code.
Cheat Code.